70 people were killed in political violence during the process of panchayat polls in 2003. 36 were killed in 2008 and 39 were killed in 2013. The figures have not been taken from an undisclosed or confidential government report but from West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's speech. Debunking the idea of deploying central forces for panchayat polls, Mamata Banerjee quoted some death figures while addressing a public meeting in South 24 Parganas, Kagdeep, last month. The idea was to show that despite the presence of the central forces, violence did happen. No other state, not even Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, witnessed this level of political violence during Panchayat election. This has been happening just before the opposition's meeting scheduled in Bangalore this month. While all opposition parties try to present an alternative model to defeat the current political dispensation at the center, the recent incidents of unabated violence raise question on the governance model in one of these opposition-led states. This is particularly embarrassing for Mamata Banerjee. The figures of death during the panchayat polls over 2 decades sum up the extent of political violence and its tendency to spiral. The Chief Minister's speech comparing data of deaths and other regimes also seems to be a way to justify the violence this year and normalize violence as an instrument to win elections, say political experts. West Bengal has not witnessed a violence-free election ever, starting from a panchayat poll or a municipal election to assembly election to general election. Over the past 4 decades, Bengal has witnessed unprecedented violence every time. Images and clips of hurling handmade bombs, spraying bullets from improvised guns, killing of people and arson always flood the social media, make headlines for newspapers and channels. The political parties ruling and oppositions change, but violence remains. According to the political analysts and experts, violence and polls are a lethal combination in Bengal. The politicians here have lost control over the electorate, and that is why they always encourage their cadre to indulge in violence. The idea of eliminating opposition forces and thereby leaving the electorate with no choice is the way of conducting polls here. This is why in 2018, around 34% of total seats remain uncontested, and no political party can be accused of this alone. Across the board, the parties fight to retain control over the instruments of violence. Before 2011, it used to be between the CPM and Congress, the CPM and Trinamool Congress, and post 2014, it became the Trinamool Congress and an opposition bloc that included BJP, Congress and CPM. Sometimes it also happened between two factions of CPM. In 2023, which is this year, around 10% of seats, panchayat seats, remain uncontested, said the election data. On the day of polling in 2018, 12 people were killed. However, then DGP Mr. Surajit Kaur said in a press conference that 12 deaths were reported from districts, but only 6 were related to polls. While addressing the public meeting at Kagdeep, the Chief Minister of West Bengal said that 2.31 lakh nominations were filed, of which Trinamool filed around 82,000 nominations and the opposition, including the BJP, Congress and CPM, filed 1.5 lakh. She called it a record. The state has 61,000 booths and violence took place only in 2 booths. The state has remained peaceful. This was her statement post the first phase of violence in Bhangar. Violence has a self-spiraling logic. The most unfortunate part is the denial. Senior politicians, including the chief ministers, have always tried to normalize poll violence by comparing figures with another regime. The way they exert influence appears to be provocative. They are often heard telling their cadre to resist police and central forces and retaliate. No leader asks the cadres to keep calm. This kind of statements lead to impunity.